Las Meninas, painted in 1656, is a remarkable work created during a time of great prosperity in Spain under the Habsburgs. Even centuries later, this masterpiece by Diego Velasquez remains a captivating puzzle for art historians eager to decipher its mysteries. Before we dive into analysing this painting, let us understand first who was Diego Velasquez. Diego Velasquez was the foremost artist of Spain's golden age in the 17th century. As the chief court painter to King Philip IV, he wielded significant influence and was commissioned to create numerous portraits of the Spanish aristocracy. Born in 1599 in Seville to a noble family, Velasquez showed artistic talent from a young age. At just 11, he became an apprentice to Juan de Herrera and later studied under Francisco Pacheco, adopting a technical mannerist style. In the early 1620s, his works often featured biblical themes, such as in The Adoration of the Magi, 1619, where he blended everyday life with religious narratives, highlighting subjects like servants alongside sacred figures. The pinnacle of Velázquez's portraiture is undoubtedly Las Meninas, which depicts the Spanish royal family. It is worth to mention that originally in early inventories, the painting was given title The Family of Philip IV. The no title today, Las Meninas, was first used in 1843 in Prado catalogue. The painting is a fascinating exploration of perspective, as Velázquez ingeniously manipulates the viewer's viewpoint, even including himself as a character within the composition. The art-loving king treated Velázquez more like a friend than a servant, and spent more time with him than with his courtiers. This caused astonishment and jealousy, as the Spanish court was stiffingly formal. The king often visited Velázquez in his studio to watch him at work. A popular interpretation of Las Meninas is that Velázquez was painting a portrait of the infants when the king and queen paid such a visit. It has also been suggested that these roles are reversed, that he was painting the king and queen when he was interrupted by the princess and her retinue. Neither view explains why he needed such a large canvas. Las Meninas is an intriguing group portrait featuring a diverse cast of characters, including a princess, a nun, dwarfs and the artist himself. Set in Velázquez's studio within Philip IV's Alcazar Palace in Madrid, the painting showcases a high-ceilinged room described by Silvio Gaggi as a simple box that could be divided into a perspective grid with a single vanishing point. To appreciate Velázquez's manipulation of perspective, we can break down the painting's elements. Thanks to detailed description in Antonio Palomini's Lives of the Eminent Spanish Painters and Sculptors, the identities of almost everyone depicted in Las Meninas are known. In the centre is the Infanta Princess Margarita, who stands prominently in the foreground. She is flanked by two Meninas, maids of honour, who give the picture its titles. One of the Meninas is Doña María Agustina Sarmiento de Sotomayor, who kneels and offers the Infanta a drink from a red cup on a golden tray. To the right are two dwarfs. The taller one, Mari Barbola, and Nicholas Pertusato, who playfully interacts with a sleepy mastiff. Another character on the painting is Dona Marcela de Ulloa, the Infanta's chaperone, stands behind, dressed in mourning. In the background, Don José Nieto Velázquez, the Queen's Chamberlain, is positioned in a moment of uncertainty. Velázquez himself appears in the painting, actively engaged with his huge canvas. A mirror on the rear wall reflects the upper bodies of King Philip IV and his second wife, Queen Mariana of Austria. The mirror is a reference to the one in Van Eyck's famous Arnolfini portrait. The painting was in the Spanish royal collection, which Velázquez was responsible for. The scene is set in a large room in the Alcazar Palace in Madrid, which Velázquez used as a studio. At the centre of this bustling portrait is the 5-year-old Infanta, who would later marry Holy Roman Emperor Leopold I. Her lighter palette and central placement draw the viewer's attention. It is worth to note that Infanta's costume is painted with brushstrokes of various lengths and intensity, with daubs of white impasto forming the highlights. Viewed from a distance, these touches merge to suggest the shimmer of silk. Interestingly, Velasquez is depicted wearing the Red Cross of the Order of Santiago, which he received posthumously in 1659, 3 years after completing the painting. This specific point has inspired speculation about its deeper meaning. Velasquez was greatly concerned about his social standing as an artist at court, and Las Meninas has been seen as an attempt to proclaim the nobility of his art, which here wins the approval of the royal family. In Spain at this time, painting was generally considered a mere craft, and this was a stumbling block to Velasquez's desire to be awarded a knighthood because people who practiced manual professions were ineligible. His candidature was initially turned down, but the king obtained special permission from Pope Alexander VII for him to be admitted to the Order of Santiago a few months before his death. Las Meninas was finished in 1656, so the Cross of Santiago that Velasquez wears on his breast must have been added later. According to legend, the king himself painted it. Others argue that the canvas Velasquez is working on is too large for a typical portrait, suggesting it might represent a double portrait of the royal couple, the only known one by the artist. It has been described as the largest oil sketch ever created. Better than any other work, it shows Velasquez's uncanny ability to make a scene come to life on canvas by suggestion and vagueness rather than precise description. Velasquez's hallmark is his Baroque style, characterized by a sense of grandeur, richness and dramatic flair. Throughout his career, he experimented with tenebrism, a technique derived from the Italian term tenebroso, meaning darkened or obscured. This style emphasizes strong contrast between light and shadow, illuminating key details such as faces and hands against a predominantly dark backdrop. Velasquez's bold and expressive brushstrokes further enhance the dramatic quality of his work, making a masterpiece of visual storytelling. As Velasquez's biographer Antonio Palomino summed up in 1724, one cannot understand it if standing too near, but from a distance, it is a miracle. Palomino added that to help achieve these effects, Velasquez sometimes used long-handled brushes in order to paint from a greater distance and more boldly. The brush he shows himself holding in Las Meninas, however, looks a normal size. Regarding the palette on the painting, Velasquez shows only a few colours on his palettes, and this accurately reflects those he used in the painting, mainly earthy tones plus white. Red provides the only bright note. In summary, Diego Velasquez transcends mere portraiture. It is a complex exploration of perception, identity, and the essence of art itself. With its multifaceted characters and intricate composition, it invites viewers to engage on multiple levels, prompting ongoing discussions and interpretations. As scholars continue to delve into its mysteries, remains a testament to Velasquez's brilliance and the enduring power of art to provoke thought and inspire wonder.